Luke and Susie with you for faith, family, culture, and I saw something on Little Miss Organised social media recently.
Yeah.
And I want to discuss it with her.
And you got so excited. You got so excited by this concept. A bit of a theatrical way to consider applying parenting skills with your children and to make a point.
Is it good or bad? That's what I want to talk about.
And it comes to there might be jail involved in this process, but in a less dramatic way than maybe you think on your frustrating parenting moments. More on this with Little Miss Organised, Bonnie Black.
Spring cleaning, it's a sick, disgusting job. Sick, disgusting job, but it's gotta get done.
Sometimes our children just leave their toys all over the floor, and the response we're going to consider taking...
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Is we're going to lock our children up in... No.
That song is Bad Toys, Bad Toys. What you going to do? It's toy jail. Bonnie Black, Little Miss Organised. I've seen this concept sort of floating around for a little while where if toys are left out, they get collected up, put in a specific place, and they're not returned until someone does a chore. So it's like you earn back the toy that you left out.
Yeah, it's a great way to actually help kids learn to take responsibility for their things because, you know, how often do kids just walk around the house leaving this trail of destruction behind them? And I find that in places, and this is in my house too, when we have those 5-minute toys, you know, the tambourine that the kid loves to bang around for a minute or two and then they drop and they move on to the action figure that, maybe says a couple of phrases and they press that a couple of times and then they drop that too. It just becomes this whole trail of destruction around the house. And as a parent, one of the worst things is feeling like you're nagging your children to constantly clean up because that's what it feels like you're doing.
So when you release the toy from jail, is it like fully released or is it on parole and has to visit a parole officer?
Oh, I love how you're fixating on the jail thing.
Oh, yeah, you're fixating on the clean. I'm fixating on the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, this is a strategy I actually do at home with my 3 kids who are 6, 5, and nearly 3. And we have a toy jail that, if a toy gets left out, we put it into the toy jail. And at the end of the week, so Sunday nights is when toy jail gets emptied and anything that's left in there gets donated. But we have 3 ways that toys can get released from jail. One of them is by doing a chore. So it might be something simple like wiping down the bench after breakfast. Another way is if you have finished your dinner and you would like to get a toy from toy jail instead of having dessert, that's the second way. And then the third way, which has actually been really, really good for our family, is if you've done an act of kindness that we've just spotted randomly, then we'll come and say to our kids, oh, you've just done this for that person. Well done. Would you like to go and get a toy out of toy jail?
Which is really fascinating to wrap my head around how this would work potentially with our children. But when you put the toy in the toy jail, do you read its Miranda rights? Is there
I don't even know what they are.
So, Luke, let me tell you. So, toy jail is one concept. Looking at the post that you did on Facebook, so one family, they called it their uh-oh box, not a jail. Another had a suitcase that they put it in. They called the suitcase gas. So there's different ways. It doesn't have to be called toy jail.
I'm with the jail. No, I'm with the jail thing.
You like the hard and fast line.
Yeah. And I could be the warden.
It's all about the power.
Yeah. So what age do you think this starts to work most effectively, Bonnie?
Well, as I said, we're doing it with our 2-year-old and he really understands it. I feel that around the 15 months mark when kids really start to get comprehension of what you as a parent are saying, I feel like you could probably start to introduce the concept around the age of 2 and it would probably work okay. It might work better for our 2-year-old because he is the 3rd and he sees how it works with the older 2. But now that we've been implementing it for maybe 6 months, they're very used to it. It's not something I have to kind of reinforce the rules or anything like that. So it's just about introducing something slowly and then I guess working up as they do get a bit older and increasing increasing the knowledge about it.
I would imagine that it'll be difficult if you've got a 17-year-old to put their car in the toy jail.
You know what? There are some 17-year-olds who need to have their car keys in jail.
Yes, no, I'm with you.
Or their phone.
Yes.
Or their phone, yes.
So where, I mean, I can imagine as the kids get older, there'll be a bit of kickback that, as to not treat them like little kids. But for different personalities, it could work really, really well. But the concept for me is to go, if you achieve like what you want to achieve, like does it mean that the kids are cleaner because you've done this, or is it just that they act better in order to get it back?
It's actually not about the cleaning up so much as it's about taking responsibility. So for parents who have got kids that lose their hat, their lunchbox, their water bottle constantly at school, this is actually a good way at home to kind of reinforce that, looking behind you and checking before you go to the next phase. Have I packed up everything behind me, rather than losing things all the time?
Oh dear. Okay, I'm going to start getting my stuff put in toy jail from the sounds of it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, does it work for partners?
This is an interesting thing to explore. Bonnie Black, Little Miss Organised, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.